Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, welcome to the very first broadcast of my YouTube channel. So new, I don't even know what I'm going to call it yet. But what I do know is that I've been watching others on YouTube for a number of years now and found channels that feed my interests, that give me information, and sometimes just even entertain me. I've also found YouTube channels that have asked, where the owner of the channel has asked advice, and maybe sometimes I had something to share, most of the time not. But that's what I'm hoping for here. This idea did not happen overnight. I've been thinking about a YouTube channel for at least a good year, like really thinking about it, but sort of daydreaming and playing around with the idea for a number of years. And so as time goes on and I find myself in unusual situations that I'm convinced many other people are finding themselves in, and then if they're like me, I'm a retired widow. I don't have a lot of people that I can springboard my questions and my ideas onto. I do have a few good friends that pray with me and give me advice, but not anybody immediate. And so I'm learning that many of you are like that too. And so developing a community, taking the risk, to me, this is a risk. Taking the risk to develop a community of like minded people where we can discuss the, the things of life, big things, in between things, um, things we wonder about, uh, choices that we have to make at our age, just whatever comes our way. And we're just wishing that we had someone else to talk to. That's what I'm hoping for here. So even though I'll be the steward over this channel, as much as I hope I share things that bring quality of life to you, I'm hoping that all of you have things that can feed into my life and to everybody else here. In thinking about that, I'm going to probably be pretty random this first uh, this first taping, just because I want to be authentic. I didn't write anything down. I didn't write a script. I didn't memorize anything. I just thought I just need to be myself so that I can find people that are just like me. So what you're getting is the real deal. Hope I'm looking in the right spot. I'm looking up here at my camera on my laptop. And so, that said, I have thought too and have heard from some of my YouTube channels that I watch that oftentimes people are going to come into the community that are critical, that can be mean, um, judgmental, and just downright negative and unkind. And so I don't know exactly how the process works, but I am one that truly believes in a safe place, truly believes in guarding the hearts of my friends and the hearts of others. And so if you're somebody that has something negative to say or a critique, doing that with honor and in a kind way is going to be appreciated, and anything else is going to be blocked. So just know that right up front. I'm going to keep this place a safe place. And it's not like I don't think that those types of people don't deserve their own YouTube channel either. So I welcome you and invite you to go find your own YouTube channel. Go find your own people that are like minded and think like you and build your own community there because this community is going to be about encouragement, about ideas, strategies, solutions, problem solving, and friendships, relationships, the things that people like us are all looking for. And so, all of that said, my name's Roxanne Wimmy, if I haven't said that already, and maybe I have. You're probably going to hear me repeat myself a couple of times over because in less than a week, I'm about to turn 69 years old. My last year of being in my sixth decade, and which brings a lot of other challenges with it. I'm a widow. My husband passed this April. It'll be 8 years ago, a man of God. And so I've gone through my grieving and my mourning well. I'm excited to know that he is spending his eternity serving in the kingdom of God, which is where I plan on being when I'm done with this earth journey. And so, a woman of faith is the first and foremost identity that I share. Haven't always lived that lifestyle. And so, coming out of the hippie age, the Jesus movement, I've had my share of recreational drugs, partying, dancing, drinking, carousing. Um, I've raised two beautiful daughters. I have six grandchildren, one great grandson. I don't see them much. They both live far away in metro areas. I'm way up north near the Canadian border in the United States. And so I found that I'm more alone than I've ever been. And I remember the first summer after my husband passed, I was doing some landscaping in my garden and I was climbing up a ladder he had made in a tree fort where we stored wood. And I went up there to get some things for my garden, and the second rung broke when I stepped on it, and I fell on my back to the ground. I wasn't hurt, thank God, but I laid there for a moment thinking, first of all, trying to feel, was I hurt? And then thinking, what would I do if I would have been seriously hurt? I didn't have my phone on me. I do have neighbors, but both of them are quite far from me. And at that point in my life, after my late husband passed, I found that I didn't have people that I check in with every day. My children don't check in with me every day. As a matter of fact, not often at all. And so some of the topics that I'm hoping to share with you are about living alone if you do, um, being retired. How is that working for you financially? And what are some of the strategies you're using? And well, I'll share some of the strategies that I'm learning to use. When Lynn was my late husband's name, when Lynn passed, I didn't inherit a life insurance policy. I inherited a mortgage that I began to have to pay down uh, with a single income. And at that point, my income was Social Security and a couple of different pensions from some jobs that I had. So I've taken on some side gigs that I absolutely love that I'm going to share with you also. One of them is that I own a booth. I'm a vendor in an antique mall and I rent a booth and I love, love, love what I'm doing there. And so, what are you doing to supplement your income if you're doing anything? Or what are some ideas that we can all share together that we could be doing? And then, as far as the experience of not having anybody check in with me. I am so blessed that I have two very special friends, one of them recently widowed, that has found herself in the same situation, estranged by her daughters right now. I don't believe it's going to be forever. I don't believe that about my children either. I believe there's going to be a restoration and a reconciliation to family. That's where my hope is at. And I'm always looking for ways to make contact with them that doesn't offend them, but reassures them that I think about them constantly and I love them forever. So anyway, I have these two friends. Another one is widowed also, is blessed that she has great contact with her family, her children, her siblings, and grandchildren. But we have a morning and evening check-in on our phones now. And I'm telling you, I love it. We've only been doing it for a couple of months. I think we started it this last fall. And I love it. I love it. There's been a couple of times when one of us has forgotten, and we've uh, discussed together as we developed it that if we don't hear from one or somebody within a decent amount of time, meaning at least by the next morning or by that evening, then we would call the authorities and ask for a wellness check. I love knowing that. I don't see it ever happening, but knowing that it would happen if I really needed help and something happened, I love knowing that I have that opportunity now. What do you do if you live alone or if you don't have people checking in on you? What kinds of things do you do or wish that you had in place for you to do? So, being a widow, being single, trying to manage the finances of a one income household. Speaking of household, um, the only second time in all of recorded history an F5 tornado, if you can believe it, came through South Dakota last June of 2025, just this summer. 225-mile-an-hour um, suspended winds, and you can find videotape of it on YouTube. When it touched the ground, it was over a mile wide. Well, my home happened to be in the swath of that monster coming across my home state of Minnesota. And it found my home. And so, where I'm videotaping right now is in a small cabin in a resort. I live on a chain of lakes on the Mississippi River, a small resort that is just a quarter of a mile from my house because my house right now is gutted to the studs. It's shut up tight, winterized, no heat, no electricity, no water. But this Monday, the day after my birthday, I have a contract company coming from quite a distance away to interview me, look at my house, and make a decision on whether or not they can help me rebuild and renovate. And so I want to take you guys along with that. I've never done any kind of construction like that before. And when I tell you it's gutted to the studs, it's gutted to the studs. There's no floors, no ceilings, no walls, nothing. The tornado took my roof. Everything was destroyed by water down through the walls, through the insulation, over all the appliances, the furniture, which ended up being quite a blessing in disguise because I was at the point, my husband's been gone 8 years now this April. I think I mentioned that already. And I have been watching some YouTube videos on purging and minimizing my life. And I had just started that this past year, uh, making packages for my children and for my grandchildren of things that I thought they might be interested in keeping, or things that they had gifted me with throughout my life that would now be a wonderful gift for their family and their household. And so I started with gifting things to my children and my grandchildren, and then they can decide. I had one person say, well, my kids don't want any of my stuff. Well, maybe my kids don't want all of that either, but I gave them the opportunity to choose. And that just made me feel better. I don't have to try to have it all figured out. And I don't want to be the boss of all of it. I'm enjoying the things I'm learning, and I want to share those things with you. I'm an avid gardener. For my age, I'm very active. I don't take any medication. I don't have any illnesses. Although, depending on how this community develops, I can tell you that I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor, and miraculously, so that can be a story that we share one day. And I'm also a ministry school student. I belong to the Alabaster School of Ministry, and I'm loving studying, studying with enthusiastic and passionate young men and women in their early 20s, embracing me, soon to be 69. And there's a few in that school that are even older than me, and it's such a large range of perspectives and ideas, and such a good community. And that's what I'm hoping for here. And so if this is something that bears witness with you, then I hope you come back. I don't know what I will call it yet. So for right now, I guess we can call it, I mean, if you want to try to find me again, maybe you can subscribe or click like, and then you can find me again. I don't want to come up with a name right now that I'm not sure about. And I suppose I should have had that planned first, but I didn't, which there'll be a lot of those moments, I'm sure, as we go forward. But in the meantime, I am glad to have you here. I'm excited to read your comments. I'm excited to listen to how your life is going for you. And I'm excited to share my life with you. I'm in the process of a lot of different things. And so we'll see. We'll see which of those things you guys love the most. Just a few, maybe all, maybe just one. I'm happy to share it with you, and I'm happy to learn from you also. So I wish you a good night, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again.